Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. We've got comments, this is brilliant. If you can do some likes, shares, that's great. A few emojis. No, I hope you're all doing well today. I hope weekend's started well for you. Sunny weather in UK. Is it sunny where you are? I hope it is. I'm just going to do a couple of shares. We've got CRAIGNOU on tonight, and it's a good one. It's always a good one. The brilliant subjects what we talk about with Jesse, and I mean, if you're watching it for first time, second time, where it's out of the box as well thinking, but at the same time, we all experience it. So, for instance, aliens. We've been talking about aliens for a few months now, but just look what's happening over the pond in America, where they're releasing information on aliens, and it's a big thing. It really is. So I'm just doing some shares first, and then we will. So if you can like, share, that's brilliant. We have Irene Takura. Excellent. How you doing, Chris? How you doing, Chris? I hope you're doing well. Nigel Porter. You're all top guys. You're all top. Let's have a look. Just going to do some shares. So today we did a little live on this page. It was an update. We nearly lost our Phil. He nearly became, when they say go for a walk, become one with nature. We nearly did. He nearly became part of a bog. Literally, he were up to his waist in bog matter, and we had to pull him out, didn't we, Phil?
Yeah.
it was summer. I'll be honest with you, we weren't laughing at the time. It were actually serious at the time. But after we took his socks off on walkway, where people literally we had 50 yards to normality, and we were just walking, and you sank, didn't you? That's it, just sank. And there's no what you can do. Pulling someone out of a sinking mud as well. There's a oh God, man, it's yeah, it's I'm sharing. Yeah, it was summer, guys. Yeah, it was actually definitely an experience. So walking in Peak Districts in Hills, we went to a stone circle, and we will be posting that. So today we have the voice of CRAIGNOU joining us. We had network difficulties at one point. It's now the turn of Jesse to have network difficulties, but it's not going to stop us. We've got him on voice only, but he's still with us. So yeah, please interject Jesse's voice. How are you doing, Jesse?
Hi, everybody. I'm fine. Thanks. I hope you all are. Lovely to be back on the show with you. Sorry about the news about you, Philip. I wasn't aware of that. Now, we don't have a bogeyman on tonight, but we have the bogman, at least. That's a better than nothing. As to me, people will realize at last that I'm not just a pretty face. And so
that's it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, Jesse, this stone circle, it's in the middle of nowhere. We went to it. We saw bikers going across field and leaving it into a walkway, to a walkway where people were. And we thought, well, that must be all right. Obviously, bikes, they've got a distribution of weight. Now, when we went walking across this ground, we were sinking, and then our Phil went forward first, and he just went down. And yeah, we had to pull him out, or it wouldn't have. You can't get out yourself. So if there's anyone walking alone in that area and you sink, you've got to hope someone finds you.
Yeah, go there with a buoy and a rope.
Yeah, definitely. That is it. And so I would just, like I was saying to everyone, there's two elements to this. There's aliens, and that's a massive subject, and it's always a massive subject, but it's a big one at the moment because in America, they're releasing a lot of information and videos, and there's a lot of questions on aliens and what's going off. I'd just like to say hello to Annette Locke, Susan Johnson, Chantel Raidman, and Irene. Irene says hi, Jesse.
Irene, hi everyone.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of alien talk at the moment, but we're also looking at movies. And movies, that's always a big thing. It is for me. I love movies, but we're looking at movies where aliens are coming up in these movies, and what's the message the producer, the writer's trying to give to us? Because they do this, don't they? They do put messages in films. And by the way, guys, your favourite alien films, ones that you watch or ones where you think they're trying to give you a message, put them into comments. And what did it leave you thinking about aliens after watching a movie? So, for instance, like with Jaws, then everyone's scared of sharks, you know. Rightly for some species of sharks, but some other sharks you can just stroke them, they're okay. I've had a shark in a tank actually, but so we're looking at aliens. What does it leave you feeling about aliens? If you let us know in comments, we'll look at them as we go along. But yeah, Jesse, they do, don't they? They put like messages and like over to you in movie format, don't they?
Yeah. Right, everyone. Thanks again for being here with us tonight. Always lovely to hear and see you again. I've got a lot of things to share with you. I thought, and we thought with Philip and John, that with the sun coming out and the holiday feeling being in the air, maybe we could do something more relaxed, but still be talking shop as usual. Now, aliens are communicating with humans in many, many ways, as you're probably aware of, and as I've discussed already in past shows. Okay, yeah, exactly, Annette, that's one of them. There is a great movement from a lot of aliens to make themselves not necessarily more conspicuous, but certainly more present, in the sense that they are really taking a big part in the coming together of alien and humans, and even hybrids like me. I'm working actually for both. The information we get are from what I'm going to say tonight and explain and show you is about messages that are carried over to humans through films and series. There are a lot of them. Now, a lot of what are called science fiction films and books actually are not, or series, are not actually science fiction. They're mostly space opera, but they get their fair share of what is good as far as entertainment goes for most of them. And they get messages as well. Now, we've talked about this a lot, John, Philip, and I, when we were not live, actually in private conversations.
Yeah.
After the shows or in private conversations. There are a lot of films. I'm going to give you a lot of examples tonight. You know, one of my favorite is Avatar. Avatar is really one way of showing humans that we need to live an other life, that other life being a life that is closer to a spiritual kind of life, more in connection with nature and the universe. That is one of them. There is another one of my favorite series, which is a trilogy actually, with Riddick, the first one being titled Pitch Dark, the second one, The Chronicles of Riddick, and the last Riddick. Now, I really, really, really like David Twohy, who is actually the film director, the scenario, the music composer, etc. He's got a really, really interesting views on a lot of things when it comes to science fiction. Riddick, for example, is a hero that never carries a gun. He never shoots. He always tries to negotiate, and he warns people. He spends a lot of time observing all the alien environments he happens to be with. He's not an American. That is one of the reasons maybe the film didn't get, maybe in America, the success it deserved, in the sense that he's not an American. He doesn't have an American type of attitude. He doesn't even have a human kind of attitude. He's a Furian. He's from a planet called Furia. He's apparently the only specimen of those people, and he has a completely different relationship to nature, people, and etc. So he's here to show us that there are other ways of living with other people, of exchanging, communicating, discovering another form of life, which is also depicted in the second film, which is The Chronicles of Riddick, is a woman played by, oh gosh, her name escapes me now. She's called, in the Riddick film, she's called Arian. She's actually an elemental alien, so she's a gas being. She literally floats. And it's played in the film by Judi Dench, who, as usual, is excellent. Yep. Another film that is very similar to Riddick is called Forbidden Planet, not the old one from 1956, but a recent one from the 90s.
I've actually seen that, and I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Philip, for all your illustrations there. Yeah, John, it's really interesting. It's inspired a couple of films. I'm sure it has also inspired another film, which was made by a Canadian guy called Denis Villeneuve. It's called Arrival, or The Arrival. Not a very good film overall, but it's got a lot of very interesting points in it.
Yeah.
We have films like Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah, Irene just put up there.
Yes. I'm sorry, Irene. Yeah, this is great. I have to look at my text at the same time, so I'm not always on the screen. But I agree with you, Irene. Although now we are, as humans, literally in the fifth kind of encounters, as Close Encounters was just meeting of the third kind, I should say. Fourth kind is actually boarding on a ship, and fifth kind is actually being taken to one of those people planets somewhere.
Yeah.
There is.
Say, Jesse, as well. You mentioned Avatar, and I just want to mention when I mean, let us know what you think, guys. But with Avatar, I get you on this film. It showed you there were different sides to different humans. Like some humans wanted to capture, take over. Some humans wanted to, give that alien planet the respect it deserved. It showed you a lot of things in that film, and it even showed you, like, we've lost touch with our nature, quite obviously, as a species, but those guys on that planet didn't, and a lot of that, and the main humans what went there didn't respect that, and they were okay to take it away. And it's like, it's a good message, isn't it? Because if we were to move to another planet, we've got to make sure we move with the right attitude, and not taking that planet away. We've got to go as a visitor, and be a good guest, be a good, a good visitor, kind of thing. And that's what I get from watching Avatar. Do you know what I mean with that?
That is true, John, but that particularly comes from Hollywood, but not only cinema in general, films, which gives us the impression that we are the dominant species on this planet, so therefore we should be on other planets, that other planets are not inhabited or lived on and have never been or haven't been for millennia, for example, if not millions of years, like people think about Venus and Mars. Mars is much talked about at the moment. But it's not the case. Or the other films which actually show us aliens, they usually show us really nasty aliens, mean beasts, who only want to come and conquer the earth, and etc. In fact, neither of those two ideas is true. because all planets are lived on. I've said this before, by different kinds of aliens everywhere in the universe and in other universes. So that includes every planet, every galaxy, etc. They're not necessarily ill-willed. A lot of them, in fact, are quite friendly. We're coming together with a lot of them in my channeling sessions, especially with my friend Stefan. I've mentioned him already before, and we have regular shows now, and we exchange with them regularly. I was doing a regression for a lady this afternoon just before our show here, and some aliens came, and we got, in fact, through the regression, we started channeling, and we got in touch with them, and we're going to meet again, and it's really, really great. Now, this is the impression. Aliens are either to be dispensed with because the humans are stronger and better, or shot because they are just mean, evil, and they just want to take the earth away from human and life away from human. It's not at all the case. And this is why I've got a lot of films and series to talk about tonight. We'll do our best to talk about most of them, but there is really, really a lot to be said about them. They show us different aspects that they are not necessarily bad. One of the main ones that is taken in a funny kind of stride in a way is the one that's called the Men in Black, especially the first one. It shows us that actually men are totally blind to the aliens that could be around us, and we don't take any notice of them when we see them. The other thing that is interesting is that they show us how aliens actually share with us. This is what is also called retro-engineering, when an alien craft crashes on Earth. Humans and Area 51 and places like this, they actually, this is the Men in Black. The first one is really, really good. The other two
I love that film.
Yeah, the other two are quite funny, but they're not quite as pedagogical as the first one is in a way.
Yeah.
There are many, many films like this giving us a lot of good news and how we share and should share and could come together. Irene, I was watching a program. Yes, we'll come back to that in a moment. If you want to grant us a little bit of your patience, Irene. There is another great film. Now, I've always been a great fan of her. She's the star of a film called Contact, which was written by a book written by Carl Sagan. Everybody knows Carl Sagan. He was really great. I've always been a great fan of Jodie Foster. She's always been after my heart, and she does a lot of science fiction films actually now. She's been doing more and more. Yeah, this is the one. Contact invites humans to think differently in the event of contacts in which aliens, who obviously have a different way of approaching people in their own style and culture, and how difficult it is to communicate with them and for them to communicate with humans. This is why people like me and so many others on Earth are here, because we are like their messengers and interpreters. And Contact is a really good one. Another one, Arrival, I've mentioned. There is also, Star Wars is a great one for many, many reasons. And many films of Star Wars, for example, one of them, I think it is episode 6, where you can see, or 7 maybe, where you can see the Galactic Confederation, Star Wars style, and with Padme Amidala going to meet the Galactic Confederation to talk about eventual contracts and exchanges and etc. Now, for those who are not aware or who haven't heard about it yet, I work with the Galactic Confederation of our galaxy and 3 other galaxies. It is really amazing. We have so much goodwill and love out there, and they all want us to come together. We walk them into the light, and we all come together. We're doing a lot of great work at the moment together and developing more and more. Another one, Sphere, is really interesting. Now, this is another one that is actually a screened version of a book by Michael Crichton. Michael Crichton was a scientist. He was a surgeon by trade, and he's really into science fiction. I mean by that science fiction is actually ideas developed around a scientific kind of element, part or idea. The one sphere is about how people would react if they were confronted with an unexpected event of a meeting, and that one takes place underwater, and in fact how they can communicate and realize who they are and who they are not. And I'm not going to kiss and tell and tell you more on that film tonight. You have to go and watch it or read the book, but it is a good film.
It is.
Another one that, John, do you want to say something? Go on.
No, I was just saying, Sphere. It is a good film. I mean, Dustin Hoffman. You know, I like that. Excellent actor. But then it also, as you were talking, you reminded me of Cocoon. The film Cocoon.
Cocoon is the same idea, only in a comedy kind of style. But it is also something. Yeah, I should put it to. Actually, I should add it to my list, because Cocoon actually shows what can happen when aliens want to come and help humans, and how far that power can extend. They can actually rejuvenate them. Yeah, this is a great one. Another one I want to introduce tonight is a film that was not very successful, but the book was very, very, very well received. It sold millions of copies everywhere. The guy who wrote it, actually, I didn't put his name down, it escapes me, but it's called The Celestine Prophecy. Some American guy goes to Peru, I think, in the Andes, and there in the forest, he realizes that people actually interact at another level, as we may interact with aliens or with nature or with animals, for example, and the way we can perceive other people's connection. Now, if you're a psychic or a medium, you're going to know what I'm talking about, because we feel how animals connect to us. I have a cat here. She really loves me, and we're really, really connected. And it's the same with nature. Why do we need to go? Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much, Philip. This is the very one. The film is interesting. It's not a very good film, to be honest, but the ideas in the film are really, really good. How you can perceive people's aura and how they change, how their emotions move, how we are not actually, we think we are acting, but we are being acted as such, and how we can come out of the matrix also through that. Now, naturally, that leads us in a direct line to the Matrix. The Matrix is, especially the first film with Keanu Reeves, that is here to show us that we are actually in a matrix, and this matrix is our ego, and this is the dark side of the Force, as it would be said by our Jedi Knights. And this is what we've got to come out of, because the matrix is our prison, in fact, and this is how we never evolve if we stay in the matrix. Everything that is material and we obey, this is what the New World Order is doing, and the deep state are doing to us now, for example. This is really
I mean,
John.
That is a really good point, because that talk, it's been a big talk for a while. But I mean, not just in UK, but from my point of view, being in UK, it's one of the biggest subjects right now. Is there a global network of people trying to dominate the rest of the world, and just a small amount trying to dominate the rest? It's everyone's coming to the conclusion that there is. All the signs are there, and that it is a big talk. And there were a comment by, was it Chantal, where I believe, I believe she said something on the lines of, I think any other beings that are advanced and intelligent enough have no use for Earthlings or our depleted, dying planet.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree.
Yeah. What if the encounters are more likely passers-by or explorer, aliens, or or the elfin? It's, are they going to try and help us fix ourselves? It really is a good point.
And another, thank you, John. Another film I want to bring up here, which is very similar in the idea to the Matrix, is the Truman Show with
Yeah, I like
what's
that.
his name?
Jim Carrey. Yeah.
Jim Carrey. Yeah, this is another kind of Matrix. He lives in a completely artificial world until he realizes what kind of matrix what kind of cobweb, in a way, this one, yes, thank you, he's actually been caught in. The only problem for me with the Matrix, the first film, is that it has borrowed too much of Alien, for example, the part with the babies and etc. It could have done very well and probably fared better without that. But I don't know. I really love the Wachowski. I've told you about them before. I really love their films too much to be to not to be kind to them, in a way, but at the same time they're really intelligent people. Remember, they're the people who, I'm going to mention them also tonight, because they're also the people who did the film we talked about, John and Philip, recently. It's called Jupiter Ascending, which is one of my favorite. It's really interesting because Jupiter Ascending, like Gods of Egypt, actually, also, if you've seen that one, they show us how we can actually live simultaneously in different dimensions.
True.
Yeah, John. Yeah.
No, yeah. No, I was just saying Jupiter Ascending. I have watched that because Jesse mentioned it. Very good film. Very interesting as well.
Yeah.
And just to level it out, Irene, you're right. There is Star Trek as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Irene. I'm not forgetting you, Irene. I swear. I will come back to you in a moment. Star Trek.
There is Star Trek out there.
Yes. Star Trek is interesting. I'm talking about the series. Star Trek is interesting, and one of the protagonists there is a woman. She's called Katie Schlackoff. She's an American or Canadian top model, and she's really a good-looking woman. She's also a star in Riddick, in 2 of the Riddick films. She is the Cylon woman in Star Trek now. No, sorry, everyone. I'm thinking about Battlestar Galactica. Battlestar Galactica is really amazing, but it has its good and its bad moments. I don't remember whether it's season 2 or season 3, which is really appalling. Basically, it's got one battle after the other, and it's got no story, nothing. It just stands still all through the season. But it is an interesting film. It does go the same way somehow as the film, but not the series of Stargate. Stargate is really interesting in that it shows us that the aliens came to Earth, they come back regularly, they have something to share with humans, only humans are not ready to share it with them. We really need to evolve peace, because we really are so low. We'll never make contact, most of us. Will never make contact, I mean, direct and intelligent and two-way contact with aliens. And a lot of aliens really want to have a two-way contact and party with us. This is what they're doing. I've talked about that. Irene, you said something. Yeah, this is the film. Sorry, can we go back to Irene, John? She said something a moment ago.
Yeah, we'll just be finding that comment. It's no problem. And no.
Not the last comment, but the one before last she made, and I promised we would come back to her.
Right, that Close Encounters,
Yeah, Close Encounters, yeah.
Close Encounters was supposed to be based on a true story, because it was negotiated with, the making of the film.
There are so many Close Encounters. I mean, yes, there is also the story of Betty and Barney Hill, the American couple I think it goes back in the 60s, who realized, and they were the first people to probably come out with the idea that they actually had been abducted. They had missing time. They had been abducted time and time again. Yes. Oh, this is the other comment Irene brought up. I was watching a program. There was dimension that made airplanes disappear. Yeah, wow, this is Bermuda Triangle. But it's not only there. There are many places in the world. There's actually a place in the south of France that has become very popular now with abductions, strange appearances, strange events and artifacts that have been near the Provence area. Yes, thank you, Irene, for reminder.
This is a true statement as well from Annette. Thank you, everyone, for your comments. If we can't get his act together to move forward with the species, we've got to be able to sort ourselves out, aren't we? Really,
we have to, one way or the other. We're just going to have to. I mean, some people have made it. I've made it. We are probably hundreds of millions on planet Earth who have, but the rest will just have to follow suit because there's no other way. We have to come together. Basically, that's what it's all about. It's a fact that we need to.
Hello to Heather as well. Heather, great seeing you on here. Put in it. There we go.
I was, John, sorry. I was always a great fan since I was like about 2 inches high, I think, of Karen Carpenter's voice and her song called, her rendition of the song, what's the name? I think it was CRAIGNOU, the rock group, who actually wrote the song, calling occupants of internet, planetary craft, I think the song.
Yes, yeah.
This is really, and they actually suggest in the song that this should be the universal hymn and anthem for everybody. And I mean, I was really little and I thought, yes, it really must be. We could use one.
We could do. And, Annette Locke as well. This year, this intervention of some type. I mean, with this information coming out recently, I'm just thinking, skeptical and critical thinking, is as long as it's not an hijacked, as long as they don't hijack the idea that someone's contacting us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Using and abusing.
Yeah, we really do need a true alien intervention, one way we can definitely see it, and not managed by a group of people kind of thing.
But then will it end up like Mars attacks?
Yeah, we don't want it to end up like Mars attacks either. So, but
Mars attacks is really funny. It's got its fair share of messages as well.
It does actually, yeah.
On surgery, on meeting. The greatest, I mean, there is the scene I will forever remember. I'll remember this. I'll take this to my deathbed, I think, is the opening scene where they actually prepare to actually meet with, I think it's Jack Nicholson, who is the president of the United States. It's always the United States, then again. But it's always America, yeah. And they're getting ready to welcome these people, and they just throw a dove, which is a symbol for the earth, for the earthling. It's a symbol of peace. And when the birds are flying, the aliens start shooting everywhere. It has the opposite message to them. That's Jack Nicholson. And then he starts shooting and killing everybody. I almost killed myself laughing when I saw that. This is, I mean, my job was in communication and international communication. It really shows that we think, people are exactly like us everywhere in the world. I mean, globalization is a fake and a complete failure. We are not global. We don't want to be global. And we are just different. We have to accept that and live. Yeah, I agree, Annette, me too. And we just have to understand people. We have to come together, but we still will have our own different cultures for some time.
Yeah.
One on Earth alone, let alone one with the rest of the universe. Heather says something here, I believe. We need to open what's around us and that is visiting us. Yes. Something I wanted to say, Heather, at the beginning of the show, but then I forgot. Yes, I'm going to do a show one day soon, which I'm going to focus on Titan. which is a moon of Jupiter, I think, or Saturn, and one of those moons which humans think is going to be livable. Now, there are people living on Titan there. I'm not sure they would welcome the idea of having mad dogs and Englishmen and all other men and mad dogs from any country in the world actually coming down there and raising havoc on their planet. I'm not sure they would welcome the idea, but I mean, I can tell them they're pretty safe at the moment, because we are not about, and far from it, to build the first ship that will take us anywhere. Yeah, They Live is really another good film. I wanted to come to that in a moment.
Yeah, it were remastered, that John Carpenter's there.
Yeah. This is. Yeah, this was a funny film. It's not a very good film, but it's got good ideas. Another film in the same series is called Alien Nation. Alien Nation is both a film and it's also a series, and they are both good in the sense that they're a kind of positive V. Somebody was talking about V at the beginning of the show tonight. Imagine the opposite of V. Alien Nation is aliens who have come to Earth, and they've been welcomed by Americans, for example, but not only, and they live in America. And it was really showing how people are different, because very often, you know, if you watch, for example, Stargate, the first season of the series I'm talking about now, you know, these guys, I think it's Richard Dean Anderson who is the leader in that series. And, you know, he shoots somewhere to the arsehole of another arsehole of another arsehole of another universe. And suddenly he lands there and everybody speaks English and they are dressed like earthly people and they behave exactly the same. And they even have the same clothes, except some of them are supposed to be back in the Middle Ages. But in fact, it doesn't work like that at all.
It's not going to, is it? It's definitely not going to work like that.
Oh, yeah, thank you. This is Alien Nation. This is the film, I think, but this is not the cover I have on my DVD, but this is probably the film. Thank you again, Philip, for all your kind help and illustrations. Yeah, this is, watch both, because they're really, really good. They explain how babies are made, for example. I mean, simple things that just show us, you know, we humans here are not the standard. We're not the norm. People are just different. They look different. They have different emotions. You know, you really have a good time if you watch that. And it is really a film for newcomers to the idea of coming together. I have a few more here in my stocking when my computer wants to show me my page.
And we have got a couple as well.
Go on, John.
Yeah, we've got a couple there. So,
which one's that?
Well, I mean, there's definitely on negative side of things is War at Worlds and War at Worlds 2. And I mean, that one's more of a, they want to come and destroy everything in sight, but that's for that film in a sense. But you know, these twists of there's polar opposites in there. There's a couple out there where aliens are there to help and save us. But yeah, there's War at Worlds, for instance. I mean, this one's, it's an iconic one, isn't it? Where there's an alien species, and I mean, it's iconic because it caused a lot of fuss and fear. The original, when it first came, well, when it came out on radio, I believe it were in America, and some people did think it were a report of what were happening when it were released. So I mean, then again, at that time, if you do hear this on radio, you know what I mean, it's going to sound like a report. Hey, aliens are here, and you know, it's what they're doing.
And John, added to that the first version, the radio version you're talking about, was done by no less than Orson Welles. So yeah, just say the name and then you've got it all. War of the Worlds is a good book, but I didn't actually put it in my list because it doesn't actually carry through or forward any of the ideas, to the best of my knowledge anyway, the aliens would want to do. It makes for a good adventure film. I respect that. H.G. Wells was a good writer and with good ideas. But I would just get off there. Another film in a different Dune, of course, the first Dune is really good in the sense that it shows us the different kinds of planet, different kinds of lifetime, different kinds of people and how they travel. For example, the emperor who arrives in a kind of aquarium, for example, there is some aliens. We need to remember that some aliens are on water planets, and living on some water planets, they need their water with them wherever they go, which is what happens to this guy. Completely different film I wanted to talk about, but this is about life and alien and afterlife, is City of Angels. I'm talking about the one with, I think it's Meg Ryan, who is the doctor.
I do believe it is. Is it like 1998, 97?
With Nicolas Cage. Oh, you would want to watch it. The end is really, really bad. I mean, I'm sorry, whoever made that film, you just destroyed the end of the film. But all the film is really, really beautiful. Really watch it. It is amazing. It showed that this one. It shows us how dead people and people from other world communicate with aliens and how they want to come together. Now, this is Nicolas Cage, and he is Seth, who is the angel. He has to become a fallen angel because he has fallen in love. I'm not going to tell you more, but this is really a very beautiful film. Just to give you a ranking, I would like to say that this is one of the rare films I've watched not only twice, which is really rare with me, but I think I've watched it about 5 or 6 times already. That is saying how good it is.
That is rare for you. I know that. I know that's rare for you because you've said it before, where you said, I've watched that twice, and that's rare. So if you've watched it more than twice, then you really enjoyed that film. And looking on Amazon, when you look on Amazon, star rating for that film, you know, it's 4.5. So I mean that's high up there, out of 5. So yeah, it's I have watched it. I remember going to watch that at cinema actually, City of Angels, and when it came out, and I did enjoy it.
I watched it when it came out at the cinema. I watched it again on television. And I watched it again on DVD. I have the DVD, and I've watched it again and again, and I've watched it after that again on television. I think it's one of those rare films for me that really does it. Now, talking about aliens, superpowers, I mean, we've just got to mention X-Men. Better, if you ask me, than most of the Marvel series. The Marvel series have a lot of interesting things. A lot. Old ears like me have been rocked to these films in our childhood. They're coming alive again thanks to new versions and etc. And thank God, because they're good fun. They're not really serious, but they're good fun. They also show us, like X-Men, that we have a lot of unnoticed potential in us that we're not using. X-Men, the idea of X-Men and Professor Xavier is about his school where he actually gathers, and which is also used as a refuge for mutants. And my favorite one is certainly Mystique. I really love her. You know, the woman who is blue.
Yes.
The top model. She's really my favorite. I love her to bits. They had to kill her in the series, which I will never forgive them, because she was really my favorite. And of course, Patrick Stewart, who is one of the science fiction actors. He was in Star Trek also. He's been in a few films. And talking of which, there is a funny alien film I really want to mention here. It doesn't really show us much about aliens, but Sigourney Weaver is there at the end. This film is called Paul, and it's really funny. It's the story of these 2 British friends, guys, and they go to some UFO con or happening or event somewhere in America, and they happen to literally drive into an alien on Earth who calls himself Paul, and it is really funny.
Yeah, Paul, that is it really is a funny film.
Yeah, it's a must see. It really is a must see.
Yeah, I mean, on with Nicolas Cage, and I hope it's Nicolas Cage, or I'm just making it up. The film Knowing.
I've
I
heard
don't know if
about that one. Yeah.
Knowing. I find that I really like that film because I do believe Knowing it's the one where aliens come to save a few people, because they've given us a code on certain events that's going to come up in this timeline.
I think it's Mel Gibson, John. Sorry, John.
Yep.
I think it's Mel Gibson.
Oh wait, no, it is here. We've got it. It's Knowing. Yeah, it is that. Yeah, so this one, it is Nicolas Cage.
Ah, so it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's figured out the code that a child was given, and it's from aliens, and they're telling us times and dates and how many deaths are going to be in certain events.
Yeah, I see.
And basically, it leads to where Earth's going to be destroyed. But these aliens come, and for instance, in Nicolas Cage's thing, hopefully your guys have seen this. Yeah, they want to save certain people. So that's why I like this film, because it's like they're trying to give us an heads up, and they're trying to save us as well. So it's like, but it's a really good film. It's not spoiling it by saying anything I've said, because there's so much going off in the film. But yeah, I like it because it's one of those where they're coming across as helpful or observers. They're not creating the trouble or the events. It's just events, but they've got an heads up on it. That's all. But yeah, Knowing is one of those films where I have watched that a couple of times. I could watch it now. You know what I mean? It's brilliant.
I was thinking of another new film. This one is already 12 years old, but I'm thinking about another new film that came out recently. I think it is Mel Gibson, and I think it's also called Knowing. There was another film. Oh yeah, Irene. Yeah, Superman. Yes, and wasn't it Annette who just said something, John, there in the comment a moment ago as you were speaking? Yeah, this one. Yeah. Yes, Annette. A lot. There are the pros and cons of all information and freedom of information, which is some people are trying to actually break the news. They're breaking the news to us, and other people have been trying. Actually, it's not new, to hide the truth away from us all the time. Yeah, sadly, this is one of the reasons I'm doing this show. Actually, I have two films here I really want to talk about also. One of them is called Midnight Special. The other one is called Interstellar. Now, Interstellar was a big seller.
Oh yeah, great film.
Yeah, a great film that is showing us how we live different lives in different dimensions. And Midnight Special is about a kid who actually is either a walk-in or an alien, and he's in contact with the other dimension. And it's really, really good. It's not it didn't chart very high, but really watch it because it's really, really good. Midnight Special is a good film.
It's got Kirsten Dunst in it, so you know, I like it. She's a good actress.
Probably Jeff Nichols.
Jeff Nichols is director, so I'll be honest with you, that is going to get a watch from me.
Yeah, Kirsten Dunst, who wasn't very famous at the time, I don't think. She became famous after that.
Yeah, I like Kirsten Dunst, yeah.
Yeah, she's okay. She's okay. She was a model, I think, originally. Yeah, she's not your average Charlize Theron, if you ask me. No competition there. To me, Charlize Theron is just it. She has turned out to be an excellent actress, playing all sorts of roles. She's done a lot of science fiction. She's in a film, a comedy with what's his name? Hancock, with Nicolas Cage, sorry, which is really, really funny. She's also in the last Australian film now. What is that called? The series? Oh my God, what is the name of that film? with Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Not Terminator.
No, it's
Oh gosh, what is it? Come on, Philip.
oh, you
Help!
yeah. I just want to while he's looking at that, just want to say, Irene, the films like Godzilla and that, I do like those because some aliens that come here, like you said before, might not have a human kind of way of thinking, and might be more animal, and you know, and they might do what animals do, but they're bigger, so they can do it on a bigger scale. So
that's the whole point to them.
Yeah, that is not a negative thing. Even if they try and devour everybody, it's not a negative thing. They're doing what they're supposed to do. So there is that. But yeah, like Godzilla. If you had a load of Godzillas, we'd be in trouble.
Exactly. Exactly. But I would like to mention. Oh gosh, it's gone now. I was looking at
a brilliant film.
Wait a minute, everyone, please. You said something about a film. Now, what was it you just said, John?
With Godzilla. Yeah, like not all of them are going to be human-like.
Oh, so yes,
they might be more reptile.
That is precisely the whole point to them, and this is why I mentioned Alien Nation and etc. They really, or Avatar, and they really show us that humans are not the norm. They don't think like us. They don't act like us. They don't even look like us. A lot of aliens are what we would consider animals on Earth. This afternoon, I was with ants alien. I was with mantoid aliens in the work I was doing this afternoon. They're really, really amazing, amazing people, very intelligent.
Well, yeah, I mean, an army of ants, just as big as they are now. They're powerful. They are strong creature. A strong creature. Now, something like that on a bigger scale, because we're in a different environment. Coming down here, or coming into this world, that would be it'd be catastrophic for us, wouldn't it? But it again, it wouldn't be an evil act or anything like that. It'd be just an encounter from another world where that thing is bigger and stronger than us, and just like we are to animals on this earth. They probably don't see us as evil. It's just we're higher up on that ladder kind of thing. And,
they should see us as evil.
Well, yeah. I get that, yeah, because we have got choice.
Now, Philip is showing us signs. I'm really a great fan of Night Shyamalan, but I really don't like this film. I think he's just not getting to the point. He's got a new film out, by the way, which the title escapes me, but I like the guy is really challenging. I want to bring up another film here.
Yeah, I do like that film, Signs, but I get what you're saying. It seems to not go anywhere for a while.
It doesn't deliver. It doesn't, but it doesn't deliver. And I don't like films who don't deliver myself. But it's a shame because I really like Night Shyamalan. He's got a lot of good ideas. I want to talk about another film here, which actually came out as one standout film. And then maybe it is David Twohy who did the first one again. And the guy who did Riddick and the Riddick series. He's also the guy who did The Lone Mower Man, which is an amazing film on how to develop the potential of man. Now, that film didn't make it, which is really sad. The trouble with David Twohy is he's got great ideas, but he's just not commercial enough for people to really go and see him. But I can only
like that film.
I mean, I would recommend him anytime. Now, the other film I was going to talk about is another film. Yeah, The Lone Mower Man is really, really great. There's a sequel to that done by another guy who is not bad, actually. Some Iranian American guy whose name escapes me. Now, the film I want to bring up now is a film called The Arrival. Now, this is a film that goes back to the 90s, not the latest film called The Arrival. If you can find that for us, Philip. I think it was probably David Twohy, I'm not sure. And he it talks about aliens taking over the earth, but in an intelligent way, and how different they are, and how they're. Yes, this one. This is exactly the one. Now, I was watching this film, and one night, long time ago, about 2 or 3 years after this, I was on television, and there was another film with another title, which actually is the sequel to this film. And then a few years later, again, I saw something on television. I thought, this is really funny. This reminds me of another film. And in fact, it was the second sequel. So there's The Arrival 1, The Arrival 2, The Arrival 3. But the titles are completely different. And I've never been able to find the third one again. Only I wish I did, because it was really good. All the three films were really, really interesting. Watch them if you can. You know, you're really not going to be wasting your time there. Another film about alien, which is very, very much loved and very famous, is The Abyss. Everybody will remember that, I'm sure. I can't remember who the girl is. Maybe it was Meg Ryan or somebody like that who played the role of the woman there. There are people working under the sea, really deep sea skiving, deep sea working. They meet this alien who is at the bottom of the sea. Can you, maybe Philip can find that?
Yeah.
For us, it has been a very, very big hit, I imagine, in many countries.
Yeah, I do remember watching this, actually.
Yeah, this is really good.
It's one that's not coming up, though. It's here. We've got it. But yeah, it is a good film. But there is one. What I was going to mention, it's got Keanu Reeves in it, and he actually comes here. They see him as dangerous, but he's actually trying to help mankind.
This is The Abyss.
This is The Abyss.
Yeah, this is The Abyss.
Yeah.
This is a light film. It's really interesting, and it's full of good ideas and good feelings and everything. It's not the greatest science fiction film ever, but it is a good one. Yeah, and how this alien who lives at the bottom of the sea, and I'm not going to tell you more. You're just going to have to watch the film now. Actually, we should get some money from Amazon after all the advertising we do for them. I think it's time we ask them for a little bit of money.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, do you know which one I mean? It's the one with Keanu Reeves. He comes down. Is a visiting alien. The authorities find out who he is. I think they imprison him, but he's actually trying to tell us, give us a good message. Oh,
it rings a bell. I'm not sure I've seen it though. With Reeves.
Yes, we will.
No, The Day the Earth Stood Still.
The Day the Earth Stood Still. That is the one.
Oh, that's a remake of an old film. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, a remake of a 1951 classic.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen the new one. It's high time I got my finger out and did that, actually. The Day the Earth Stood Still. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, it really is. I like that film. It's really good. And, you know, it's the way they talk to different people. It's the way people react to him. It's, you know, it's really good. It shows different elements from different sides. And, it's one that I would recommend watching for people.
Thank you, John. I want to recommend another film that was not successful. Maybe the original book was successful, I'm not sure. The woman who wrote the book is a Russian who immigrated to America. She calls herself Ayn Rand. And the film is called Atlas Shrugged. I would really recommend that. It just shows you again how some people have access to another dimension where they go and retire. They're really rich people, so they can afford to do really anything. And talking about money, John, at the beginning of the show, I wanted to say that our planet belongs to 17 families now. So half the road where you live, imagine half that road, and on one side owns the world. And we are 7.5 billion people. This is really, really shocking, if you ask me. But then we're not going to go into politics.
No, but it's true. Yeah, it's a big thing, and it's it's becoming a highlighted subject right at this particular
Yeah,
moment.
very much so.
So,
Thank you very much, Philip, for showing us Atlas Shrugged.
right.
It doesn't get a very good rap, but it is not a bad film, honestly. There is a sequel to that, which I think is just called Atlas Shrugged #2 or something. And yeah, Ayn Rand, that's her there. Yeah, there is this. Yeah, that is the second one. Yeah, part 2. Part 2 is not quite as good, but it's, you know, it makes for good entertainment anyway. Yeah, and yeah, the woman, Dagny Taggart. Yeah, that's her. Thank you very much. There is, of course, the unescapable Alien series. You know,
Yes,
directed every time by a different director, with the very famous, who needs to mention her, Sigourney Weaver, who is one of the leading actresses with Charlize Theron, for example, in science fiction and space opera films now, and Jodie Foster too. This is really a good series in that it shows you how different lives, even if there is always the alien. Actually, there is one thing I never understood about that series and those films, is the alien doesn't always look the same. It's supposed to be the same alien, but it doesn't look the same. And especially, yeah, this is one of them. Thank you, Philip. Especially in the Prometheus version, where at the end you see the same alien, only it has 3 completely different bodies somehow, which is really strange. But that is good. And the coming together with the Predator was a good idea, because the Predator, the Predator was a film. If you ask me, I don't actually review films for rotten tomatoes. But if you ask me, this the first Predator was interesting in the sense that they had a good character, but they didn't know what to do with him. He's just mucking about, and there's nothing really serious. #2 is about the same, only a little bit better. And #3, when it comes together, it really makes the Predator character come alive, and it's really interesting. Prometheus is interesting in many ways, but I think it's missing a lot of things at the same time. A lot of things don't make sense, but it is really interesting. And the series and the films that came out after that, in the Aliens, Predator, and Prometheus series, are not very good. There is another series that is really funny, although every film is exactly the same. I'm a fan, and I will die a fan, is the Jurassic Park, all the series. Remember, Jurassic Park was originally written by Michael Crichton, I mentioned earlier on, who was a surgeon. Yep. He's a scientist. This is real science fiction. He uses science to create fiction. The first one, I think, whoever did that, to the best of my knowledge, in modern literature, was author du Maurier. She really is, and she's really much better than a lot of writers, even decades later after. And she was really science fiction, mostly The House on the Strand. So yes, we have Jurassic Park, yes, forever. Even if every film, as I said, is the same as the one before, but it always makes good entertainment. And the dinosaurs are just ever so creepy. You there, John?
Yeah, definitely. The Jurassic Park series, it's one that when one came out, I watched them all from the beginning again. Yeah, I was just looking at this. Like that one there, the first one. Is it the first one in '93?
Probably, yes. I mean,
director Steven Spielberg. I mean, it's those films are amazing, and the science is becoming more real as time goes on, isn't it?
Yeah, and
it could be done.
Jeff Goldblum is just absolutely excellent. There's no.
Yeah, I do like him. Yeah. I mean, he's the guy what we're in Fly as well. So that's another film that I enjoyed. I know that's not an alien one, but yeah, He's a good actor in there with things. There's a film I wanted to mention. You know, you mentioned John Carpenter. It's the one where he finds like a Stargate in a mountainside, and he can visit maybe Mars, but because of the gravity, he can jump very high. He's got, you know, his strength better there because of the atmosphere. So yeah, that's a good film because there's a lot of different elements to it. Because he's helping out the underdog, that kind of thing. I found that film very interesting.
It's called John. Yeah, the film is called John something, I think.
John Carpenter.
Yeah, John Carpenter or something like that. It's part of the Marvel series, I think, that one again, John.
Yeah, I think it is. But I did find that one. I found that pretty good actually because it.
Yes, I wasn't too impressed, to be honest. I wasn't too impressed. It didn't bring anything new to the table. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Yeah, it makes good entertainment, but not more than that. There is another film I want to mention. Actually, two films. One is called K-Pax. The other one is called Intrusion. And they both talk about walk-ins. Now, a walk-in is an entity that uses a human body, a body snatcher, if you like. That comes from a space, an alien body snatcher, and how they use him. I mean, K-Pax is with an actor I really, really like, Jude Law. Jude Law has done a lot of science fiction films. He's really, really an amazing actor in what he does and the roles and how he plays them. I think he's a British actor, actually, also. And he's really an amazing actor. Can you hear me, John?
Yeah, definitely. The Intrusion one. I'm looking at it. I haven't seen that at all. Actually,
I think it was what's her name? The Australian actress. Oh gosh.
Directors starring
the blonde one. What's her name?
No, I'm lost on that one. Jesse, you've introduced me to something new again.
I think it's called. Is that the one that's called The Astronaut's Wife? Maybe in English. Can you check that?
Yeah,
Philip, please.
We're having a look into that.
The Astronaut's Wife. I think that's what it's called originally.
Annette Locke said K-Pax was a really good film.
Yeah, thanks, Annette. I agree.
Susan Johnson's mentioned E.T. was a good film. E.T.'s I like that one. Jurassic Park is always a must-watch series. Yeah, very true.
I was just hoping somebody would come up with E.T. before the end of the show. That's why I was holding it back.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard the theory that the E.T. was actually more vegetation type life form. No, that was it. E.T.'s fuel was more sunlight. The skin of E.T. could photosynthesis. And that's why he could bring back that dying plant, for instance. It was a theory. Yeah. I found that quite interesting, that maybe some aliens don't need to eat because they get the power through sun, just like a plant life, for instance. I found that interesting because maybe closer they get to the sun, the more powerful they get. So it's a reason maybe to come to Earth if they come from somewhere where where that kind of like energy source isn't as available. So they find Earth more energizing for them. So yeah, why not stop by here, kind of thing.
What is interesting in this idea is the fact that there are those films who show us that, like for example Avatar, but not only, that show us that humans have to go to other planets to find resources, and other films who show us that aliens come to Earth because they're dying on their planet and they need resources and things like that.
Yeah.
And so it cuts both ways, really.
Yeah.
Philip, you found the Astronaut's Wife, or maybe not, or am I asking for too much? Yeah, this is the one. Johnny Depp and
know about that. I didn't
Charlize
know about this one.
Theron. Yeah, it's not Australian. I thought it was the other actress, but it is Charlize Theron. Yeah, yeah. A really interesting film.
I'm going to watch it. Yeah.
You have watched it, John? You said
No, this is one that I'm going to have to watch.
you better put this on your shopping list.
Will do. Yeah.
Because it's another good one. There is a film called Brainstorm, which explains how humans learn to manipulate other people, which is what aliens can do also.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Another film which is really good. Now, I am forever and I will die a Philip K. Dick fan. Many of his films have been, is really real science fiction, have been made into, his books, sorry, have been made into films. For example, what's the first one with Schwarzy on Planet Mars? Oh gosh, what's the name? Anyway, that was one of them. Blade Runner is another one of them. The Imposter is another one of them. Another one that is really good is Screamers. Total Recall. Yeah, that's the one I was looking for.
Total Recall. Yeah.
Total Recall, especially the first one. I wasn't too keen on the second version. But he's also the one who wrote the book The Man in the High Castle, which came out as a TV series about 2 years ago now.
Yeah,
which is not very impressive. I think it follows the story, but it's very unimaginative. Total Recall with Schwarzenegger is really amazing. I will say the same about Blade Runner, which is really amazing again. But he's done many films that have been many books, sorry, that have been made into films. This one also, Total Recall, you know, in one of the regressions led by Dolores Cannon, she says how we can borrow memories from other people or buy memories. And she says that how we can, for the purpose of fulfilling a life we're supposed to come and live, then we need to borrow memories of other people from the Akashic record. This is what Total Recall is about. Another film, yeah, which is recent, although I'm not really a fan of the guy. He's a French filmmaker called Jean-Luc Besson, and he did Valerian and the City of the Thousand Worlds, which is really a good film. This is actually the adaptation of a French comic strip, which is which has been very popular in France, which is about 20 years old, I think now. But this film this time is really good, and it shows us how people are different, live differently. Yeah, this is the one on Other Planet, how people need, for example, in order to see into other dimensions, they need to wear special glasses and things. This is really an amazing film. I'm not sure whether it fared well in America or the UK, but it is really a great film. I would really recommend it.
Yeah. No, I mean, these are all, I'm going to say they're all good films, because even the ones that are a bit sketchy, for me, they're worth watching, just because of those ideas that's in them. I mean, the one there, Chantal, The Fifth Element, yes.
Well, The Fifth Element is a typical Besson film. He just manages to have a good idea, and then he crashes dead in the middle of the film. And the second part is a waste of time and effort. Of course, the beautiful ex-top model Mila Jovovich, who used to be his girlfriend at the time and whom he employed in every single film he made until they split. Some of them are actually being really bad for Mila. But yeah, anyway, the ideas were good. Not always come to a good end, but good ideas. There is, I was just going to talk about that. There is another film, John, Philip, and we've been talking about. It's called Titan, or The Titan.
Yeah, I was going to mention that, because you mentioned Titan earlier. And it's the one that I watched because you mentioned it a few episodes ago.
It goes to show I come to some use sometimes, John.
That's it. I've been watching the ones you've told me about.
Yeah.
Oh, The Fifth Wave. Yeah, yes.
The Fifth Wave is interesting, but it's mostly political. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's a political science fiction kind of film, but I wouldn't put it in my list yet. Still, watch it. Watch it.
It is a good watch.
Yeah. There was another one I wanted to mention. Yes, the Titan we've talked about. Now, in the Titan, they show us how men have to mutate to actually go and live on Titan. I mentioned about before, which is one of the moons of Jupiter or Saturn. I can never remember which one of the two. And the guy actually who is the protagonist in the film is actor Sam Worthington. And Sam Worthington is also the hero of Avatar.
Yeah.
He is the Avatar, actually, in the film.
Right. Yes.
A good actor, really good actor. He doesn't do many films that I know of. Yeah, Sam Worthington.
Yeah.
A must watch.
Yeah, there's one that's not being covered. Flight of the Navigator. That is a film that I really enjoyed when I was from being young. I'm not sure if you know of it. It's about a young boy that he comes across a spacecraft. He gets inside. He goes back in time. By the time he's finished, time's gone by when he gets back to Earth. So he's still young, but like the world's gone on years.
I'm putting it on my shopping list.
I
haven't seen it.
It's more 4K-ish.
Yeah, it's more 4K. The original date, it's got to be pretty old, hasn't it?
Yeah, it is old.
It's got to be pretty old, this film. But yeah, I find it a great film. It does come across different life forms on the alien craft as well. So this alien, I think, has been going around just looking at different life forms, and there's a few in Jaws, and it's a good film. Actually, I'd say it's one of these films. Well, it's a 1986. I'm gonna have to watch it again, actually, as well.
You were not born in 1986, John.
1981, mate.
Sorry.
No, thank you. But it's. I grew up, and I used to.
Well, it happened to the best of us. We grow up.
Well, yeah, eventually. Phil's just reminded me of this one, 1987. Batteries Not Included. What a film!
Really? I haven't seen this.
Yeah, this one, brilliant film. It's based in America, and these little like alien craft. They're like little alien bugs, really. There's a community of people in a building. They've got a situation, and these little alien crafts, which are more like bugs, they help them out. I'm not going to say too much more. It's award-winning winner Steven Spielberg comes this delightful fantasy. So it's a really good film. I'll give you this one to watch, Jesse.
Okay, I have put it in my shopping list also. Another one I want to give you, Pete, is a film which is really, which really gave me food for thought. Actually, it was really something of an awakening, in a sense, for me, on some lines of history and alien life and coming to Earth and etc. It's called Cowboys and Aliens, and I think it's who did that one again.
Daniel Craig.
It's this kind of stuff. Maybe Philip can dig that up for us. The actor is a great guy who's actually in a series called Westworld, which is an amazing series. But Cowboys and Aliens. Who was it? No, it wasn't Night Shyamalan. Jon Favreau. Oh yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, it's quite interesting. It's food for thought. Certainly food for thought. In the sense that cowboys and aliens have met and what can have happened during that time. And I'm not going to anymore. You're just going to have to watch the film. It makes for good, interesting ideas and thought-provoking ideas, and certainly a good film, good entertainment.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Harrison Ford. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who is there is really a good actor. He's a famous actor who's been in many, many films. People probably would not recognize him, but he's actually been in many films. It's like Toni Collette. You know, ask anybody about Toni Collette. Nobody knows who she is. But she's been in a lot of actually blockbusters, and she has really those roles. And she was in this Australian film. What was it called? Muriel's Wedding. Yeah, that was the beginning, the first big film, and probably the one that made her into a famous actress, Toni Collette. She was really young at the time. Yeah, John, you say something.
Jesse, there's the one I wrote down before, just noted before live, actually, and I didn't find the title, and I've just remembered to think about it, actually. So that just sounds odd. It's a David Bowie film, and he's an alien, and I believe he has. It's a strange film. I watched it, and it was like, I don't know where I am here, but it was a really good film. It was interesting. Is it the one where he's got certain technology, and I think he sells it off just to get a bit of money. But yeah, it's David Bowie plays like he plays an alien. That's one we'll have to come back to, because
we'll have to come back to that one.
It's escaped me, that one, actually. I did have name in my head. It's gone now. If anyone knows that, let me know. It'd be helpful, because I've gone on that one. Is it Starmac? No, it isn't. No.
I just want to say something before we move on to series, John, if I may. The Russians are coming out with good science fiction films now. It's not only the Americans. Sorry, Uncle Sam. But they have, I can't remember, the title escapes me now. I think it's called The Door to All Seasons or something like that. And it's people who go into a kind of building in Moscow, and that building is out of time. And depending on the door you come out of that building, you are in another time period, a bit like another Michael Crichton book that's called Timeline, which was made into a film. Timeline, also an interesting and not great film, but the book is actually much better. I don't normally compare books and films, but in this case I will. The book was actually much better than the film. The film rendition could have been better, but there you go.
Yeah, that happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what happens. If I may talk about series now and messages in series, I would like to mention the first one, which I think is probably one of the greatest director and screenwriter of series, an American man called Gene Roddenberry, and with his second wife, Majel Barrett. And they made a lot of films. He was originally a writer, a scenario writer, playwright for Star Trek at the time, back in the old days of Leonard Nimoy and all those plays. But he did many other things which sadly didn't make it. An interesting series called Genesis 2. And then another one called Planet Earth, which I really, really recommend. They came out in the 90s. There was another one which escapes me now. Another series he wrote. Go on his wiki and you will find everything you've always wanted to know about him and never dared ask. And he's done a lot of interesting films. He's really interesting. He has a view that is not completely American of, A versus B and how they fight and how one tries to outdo and conquer the other. He's really much more intelligent than that. There is a series, I didn't put it here, silly boy, Jesse. He worked for Star Trek, he worked for a number of films and his own films. Yes, John, you want to say something?
Oh, no, one series that sticks out to my mind is Fringe. It's more about timelines. But yeah, Fringe. I really enjoyed that series. It's there's 5 seasons, and it's about a guy what he jumps timelines because he wants to, he wants to. I think he wants to save his son in another timeline and bring him back to this one, and it goes wrong, close to apocalyptic wrong. And he realizes he shouldn't have done this, but that doesn't spoil it. There's so much what happens from A to B. It's really worth a watch.
I didn't actually catch on to that one, but then it takes all sorts. Anyway, everybody's got entitled to their own taste. Why not? I didn't see any message I wanted to promote in that title, but maybe I missed it. Could be that. Now, another great series I really, that again wasn't very popular, sadly, but I watched the series about 3 or 4 times already. It's called The Event. Now, this is really a great series. It takes some trying at the beginning because the first 3 episodes are really a lot of here, there, and everywhere, very, very messy. But the director gets his act together by episode 3. And I think there are 20 episodes. It's really interesting to see how aliens have lived on Earth, for example, and how they mix together. Yeah, this is the one. It really... Oh, it's got 4.5 stars there. Season 1, yes, which was the first and the last season because they didn't make enough money with it, so they didn't continue. Sadly, it deserved a season 2, if you ask me, and maybe more. It's a bit, and yet at the same time, the same and different from the 4400. Which is another one I would recommend. The 4400 is really amazing in the sense that people are taken to another planet and they have been sent back some 60 years later to find out their own potential and how to use it on the planet. It's really good entertainment.
I've watched that.
It has.
I did enjoy it. Yeah.
Judd, yeah.
No, yeah, it's true. Yeah. It is entertaining. I did enjoy that, actually.
The opening is just amazing. It's one of the greatest openings ever in the history of cinema and television series. It is really amazing, and it is really what happened. Another series I will recommend, which I really love, and to be honest, there's a guy called Jesse there, and this guy, at the beginning, he lives exactly, I thought it was my story I was watching on the screen at the beginning. As I said in past shows, in my past life, I died in 1942. I was shot down by German fighter planes and pilots. And I was 24, and this is exactly what happens to Jesse's father in that film. And I thought it was really my life. Somebody must have been reading my mind when they wrote that scenario. And it's exactly that. And he was taken away by aliens, which is what happened to me when he died on the plane, and really watched it. I know you like it, John, because you said so, maybe in private talks or online some other times in past shows. Yeah. But it is really amazing. I mean, it is directed by John Spielberg then again, which is some credit, and really watch it. And I don't mean the films with Liam Neeson when I say Taken, the actual series, not the films.
Yeah, it is. It's the series. Yeah.
The films with Liam Neeson are actually just his son got kidnapped or something. This is nothing at all to compare with the series I'm talking about. This one. Yeah, this is the one. You've really watched, and of course, there is an actor there who is also a protagonist. He's the guy who leads the inquiry in the 4400. Joel something. Or something. Yeah, he's not mentioned there, but he's also in the film, and he has a similar at the same time and different role. which is really, really amazing. Let's look at some other series. Well, we've talked about Alien Nation, Star Trek. Star-Crossed is interesting also. For the people who like that sort of film. Battlestar Galactica, I've also said, although there's a lot of wasted time and effort in it. But the good thing about Battlestar Galactica is somebody decided to do a prequel of that, which is called Caprica, which is excellent. I would really, really, really recommend that. Yeah, somebody, I think it was probably Irene, who talked about Final Impact. Strange Days, also very, very interesting. Inception, Minority Report. Of course, they all go in the same direction, how we can use the human brain to change things and program and reprogram and sometimes even predict, foretell of forthcoming events. It's really, really, really interesting. Yeah, Caprica, that is exactly the one. Watch it. It is really, I mean, it is excellent. Just to say this, I've watched it 3 times, okay? Anything I've watched more than once is just great. And I bought the DVDs. It's not something I watch on television even. You know, I bought the DVDs, and it is really much better than the actual Battlestar Galactica series.
I mean, these are brilliant series, and it shows you how many there is out there as well, and that reflects on our fascination on alien and alien life forms. Yeah, it's it really is up there, isn't it? You know, human society. It's something we really are fascinated in. So yeah, I do like I love all these series and films. I mean, we've got X-Files as well. You know, I mean, I really enjoy watching X-Files as well. So yeah, it's really interesting stuff.
If you ask me, John, sorry, I'm going to throw a few Rotten Tomatoes there, but X-Files for me is only a poor rendition, and it never gets anywhere, which is really irritating. It's a poor copy of a lot of good or average stories. I had a girlfriend in the past. She would watch every single episode of it, and I would just be really, really bored to death while she watched that. But then each to their own, you know, if you like that one. I have something to offer now, John. It's called Night Flyers. It was not a popular series, but it was really interesting. And again, it talks about what some aliens really are like, what they live like, what sort of life they have in culture. Night Flyers, watch it. It's not a long series. I think it's only a 6-episode series or something. But it's well worth it. Now, there is another, we talked about this backstage with John and Philip, a series called Sense8. Sense8 is really how people from different the world can actually come into that space where they come together and help each other out. It's really, really amazing. The 2 seasons are really amazing. There is another similar season that is called OA, which is, it's not always at its best, but it has a lot of good things too. So I really recommend it. I would just say try and watch it if you can. John, you want to say something?
No, I was just saying I've watched the OA, and I really did enjoy that. Actually, I was going to check to see if there's been any updates on that since I last watched it.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, what's that about 12 years ago now?
Yeah, I did watch it when I first saw it come out onto Netflix. So yeah, it's something I'm going to check up on.
John, maybe we have a few comments we can come back to. And
I do know the film with David Bowie in. It's The Man Who Fell to Earth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 1976 British science fiction film. So it's the alien is here to get water from us and take it to his planet, but he falls to human vices. You know, he comes trapped in our loop kind of thing. So that's a really interesting film. I found it really strange and weird at the time, but it were a long time when I watched it. So I'm gonna have to watch that again with a different mindset. So yeah, I'll watch that again.
We have a comment from Susan there, which is interesting. Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, this is interesting because it shows that there are people in the galaxy, like people who work, for example, for the Galactic Confederation, who actually are guardians of the galaxy. But remember, everybody, whatever these people may do, they are not going to do what humans are supposed to do for themselves and for others. What we have to do as humans is our job to do. Nobody else will do it for us. Although a lot of people are going around saying, oh yeah, don't worry, it's all being taken care of. No, it's not. We have to take care of our own life and universe also as much as any other.
Yeah, I mean, I know this is a different way of looking at things, but even like, for instance, gods are said to help those that help themselves. So they don't help. They're not said to help the ones that aren't trying. You've got to at least try for things to help you. Yeah, it's down to us to really get.
We have to come out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, you've got to be uncomfortably comfortable.
Yeah, comfort zone is matrix. Remember, this is the matrix. If we come out of that, as it is explained in the Matrix, the first film, we are going to discover who we really are, what our potential really is, and what the world really is outside the Matrix, outside the Truman Show.
Yeah,
because this is what makes a good film, if you ask me. Sorry, John.
No, yeah, you're right with what you're saying there. Comfortable can be ignorant to anything else. I mean, it all goes back to the cave, doesn't it? Where the ones in the cave would rather stay in the cave, even though the guy left the cave, saw it real world, came back to report it, and just don't want to know. Just don't tell me, because I'm happy in cave, looking at silhouettes on back at cave, and that's it. We don't want to know you. You're telling us something different. And yeah, that's comfortable. Uncomfortable is the guy what left the cave, came back, and he's got a job to try and explain it. And
in fact, this is where real life and excitement and learning and evolution and ascension is when you come out of your comfort zone and then you discover there's something else. There's a life out there. There are other people out there, and they're all ready to teach us a lot of things. A lot of people are afraid of aliens because a lot of people want us to stay in the Matrix, namely those 17 families I mentioned earlier on, and a lot of governments worldwide. Because they don't want us to be free, to break free, to evolve. We need to do that. This is our very own purpose, why we are here.
Yeah, it's ascension, isn't it? So
exactly, in a word.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, I thank everyone in comments. I thank Jesse for all those movies, those series, because I really do think we do learn a lot from watching movies and series, because there's a lot of truth, and even if it's philosophy and theology what go into the people what make the films and series, because it's food for thought. It makes you think. It's not. I just don't think it's true when they say you don't learn anything from TV. You do. You really do.
But from TV, you don't. Sorry, John. From TV, you don't. From films, you do, and especially from Beyond Dimensions.
That's if you're watching this on
start here.
That's it. Yeah, I meant that. From films and cinema and series. Yeah, you do learn a lot. I mean, there's a lot of things in films where you've looked at it and it's coming true in future, in present, where like Jurassic Park, it's not hard to imagine they could do that. iRobot as well. I wanted to mention that one just because it's different levels. The first robots become obsolete to better robots, and better robots want to take out the the first series kind of thing, and they're not too keen on humans either. And it's about the guy what stands out, looks at it, and tries to give a message. So I think there's a lot of powerful thought in these films.
Actually, if I may come in edgeways here, John, this is a film that was, I think, an adaptation of a book by Richard Matheson, who was really, really good, a good science fiction author. It is also a way, I would say now, coming to whatever I've, picked and learned, lived and learned also all my life, and I'm still doing. It's also a way of showing how greys, now if you've heard about greys, they are actually like droids. They are organic robots, but some of them, like those robots who are above the others you just mentioned, John, they have been now granted a soul, which is they are going to become alive individually, freed from being slaves and working for other people, having no freedom of will and thought and etc. They are actually being freed from their own, not slavery, because they were really more or less machines, and they were just designed to do a job, just like man was when he was created on Earth at the beginning with Anunnaki, as I've probably said in other shows. But this time, some of the greys now are being granted a soul, and they will live a life of their own.
I've heard you mention this, and I find that really interesting. Can I just, I've got to ask that question that Sue Cooks asked. This might be a crazy question. Do you think Donald Trump is an alien?
Sue, I will come out with the truth now, this time, once and for all. I love crazy questions.
I love it.
Let the world know and spread the word. I love them. I'm going to give you one, but two answers also in one. In fact, we are all alien because we were created, all humans were created by aliens and alien. Now, there are crazy aliens like me who are all hybridized with other newer, more recent alien races who are really alien to Earth now, even though some of them may come and even some live on Earth, if not permanently, at least in periods, in times. But in that sense, I would say Donald Trump is an alien. He certainly is an alien in politics, in how he's kicked in the guts of most of the people of the deep state and of the New World Order, and that is the world needs more people like that. Yes, but we're not going to go into politics beside this, beyond this.
But no, we got an answer to that question. I love it, definitely. Intervention theory.
Intervention theory is my philosophy. Yes, Annette, I'm right there with you all the way.
I'm there with that one as well. And
is Irene there with us? We haven't seen her for some time. Has she gone to bed?
Irene,
come on, Irene. No, maybe she's busy with other things. She'll come back.
Hello to Linda Culver.
Oh, there she is. Oh, sorry we're losing you for the evening, Irene. Well, sleep tight. Remember, your alien friends will be there in your sleep and take care of you. And we love to have you every time, and we'll be having you. Stay tuned next time soon.
Yeah, I mean, thank you everyone that's joined in, and thank you, Jesse.
Thank you, everyone. And
Jesse,
arigato for Irene.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, very good. Yeah, definitely. And but Jesse, before we go, what do you think we're going to look at next?
I'm going to have to think up something, because I have a few things that are really hot on the grill at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention first one what comes to my head. You already know it.
Yeah. Well, I have a few spoilers, but I'm going to keep them for later because I really have a lot of new things now. Amazing.
Right.
And I haven't done them in English now yet. You know, all my premiere are going to be now on Beyond Dimension.
Oh,
And I have to work on them. I'm really, really busy. I have more and more people coming to me for healing, for readings, for karmic regression, which is really good. And at the same time, I'm working. Last night, I was awakened by aliens 3 times during the night. They took me away. They brought me back. They woke me up for this, that, and the other. I had a shocking night again. And so anyway, they also teach me a lot through that. They're not the best relationship managers, as it were, but they get there eventually, one way or the other. And
one way or another.
One. Yes, John. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Well, one way or another, they get there.
Yeah. So everybody, that looks like we've got it all for tonight. You have other things to watch through the summer and even before, and we should have another show soon.
Definitely. And yeah, thank you very much, Jesse, and thank you everyone. And we'll be joining you soon, and we'll be joining you again quite pretty soon with Jesse on another subject.
Stay tuned.
Definitely. Thank you very much.
Everyone, keep well.
Yeah, stay well.
Bye for now. Bye.
Bye.